Hello one and all, and welcome to Behind the Glass, your weekly automotive podcast hosted by two rather uninformed enthusiasts.
No.
I'm Sam from the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass.
I'm Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales.
And you can watch us each week. We hope you enjoy the episode. I guess let's start with the car that I arrived in this morning, because I feel like you have a lot that you want to say or ask about this car.
I've got a lot of questions for you.
Yes,
How long have you had it, mate?
Oh, about 6 hours. So
6 hours too long for me.
Maybe. I drove here this morning in the Audi RS6 GT Avant, to give it its full name, which is the press car I've got on loan this week. It was dropped off yesterday.
You got it all week?
I got it all week.
Right.
I got a full week loan, which
Monday
is quite
to
nice.
Friday?
Monday to Monday.
Oh,
yeah.
Weekend as well?
Yes, but I can't actually use it at the weekend because it's my mum's birthday. Won't reveal the age, but it's a significant one.
Oh, bless her. Happy birthday, Mum.
Happy birthday, Mum. And so I'm not filming. Cameras are going down.
You're having a nice time.
And we're having a nice time.
Lovely.
So even though I've got the Monday to Monday loan. But yeah, so literally got dropped off yesterday. I was out doing bits. I didn't get home until it was dark, so I didn't really have a chance to see it. I mean, I did because it's very in your face.
Well, do you know what? It's the best place to see it in the dark. Pin hell.
But this morning I jumped into it first thing this morning and drove here just now. So I've just done 20 minutes behind the wheel and I rocked up and I've never seen you get out of the van quicker, so that you know people basically. Tony often arrives before me here at the studio on podcast days, and at the minute he's in his van and he's parked up, and I'm always there, like quite excited for you to see what I'm going to rock up in. And because each week it's a bit different.
It's a bit different.
And I came out and you leapt out of the van, came running over with your camera in your freaking hand.
Which I never normally do, to be honest. But
on
I saw
Instagram
it
Live.
Saw it not Instagram Live. I think I remember last time I'd done one of them. I saw it from a mile off, and I knew it was you.
Yeah.
And I thought, what is that? And as it got closer and closer, and you parked it up, I saw your little face in it. And I thought, I'm not having this. So I got straight on Instagram stories and basically went in on it.
It is aggressive looking.
Hideous, mate. Basically. It's to want for a better word, monstrosity comes to mind.
Well, I mean, obviously, if you don't know anything about this car, this is basically the run-out special for the RS6. It was inspired by this IMSA, this kind of actually quite iconic Audi race car from, I guess the 80s. Okay, don't quote me on that. I'm actually struggling to know when that car was
livery,
around.
you mean, or the actual car?
Yeah, livery and vibe. So there's two inspirations. There was a design study by some young design people at Audi called the RS6 GTO. I don't know if you remember that. Had awesome like aero dish wheels. It looked very similar to the thing that I just parked downstairs.
Right.
And it was cool. So that was like part of the inspiration. And the other part was this kind of, this IMSA, this successful Audi race car from yesteryear. Sorry that I don't know more about that car. The thing is, on the as a Goodwood Festival of Speed on a stand, you'd be like, that looks wicked. Or like, as in like a one-off, as in like they've done this thing to celebrate this. You'd be like, cool, like what a cool thing.
As a concept, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But driving it through Richmond Park, as I did this morning.
Richmond, trying not to run over a deer.
I literally feel like a really bad John Olsen ripoff. Do you know who John Olsen is?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so YouTube 2012, as in like, it's so in your face, this car. If you haven't seen pictures of it, I've got it in the Heritage Arcona white livery. Yeah. So it's a special colour, as I say, tied to that IMSA livery.
It's got a name, that colour, is it? Like
Arcona white.
Right, okay.
But then all the decals, the exposed carbon fibre on the bonnet, this massive rear wing, these flared arches, these big white wheels. Like it's, I think it's chavvy. I haven't used that word for a while, but I think it's a bit chavvy.
Yeah. From a manufacturer's point of view, I think it's worse than chavvy, mate.
But
is there buts?
Yes. I quite like it.
Do you? Oh, well, mate, you've absolutely lost the plot. Are you joking?
I would never want to own it, as in I couldn't stomach it. It's the Lamborghini RS6. Like, it's so in your face. And literally, Vicky, my wife, saw it this morning out the window and went, what the heck is that?
So my reaction, because she's a normal human being.
And you could not, as a family wagon, which is what the RS6 is, like, you just couldn't get away with it.
No.
Like, it's so And even at the petrol station, I felt kind of embarrassed, but then I also quite like it because
everyone's looking at you.
Well, yeah, because I'm not that person. Right? I usually like a demure car. Like
You are that person, mate.
No,
you literally drive down the road with the window open with your phone out on Instagram, literally showing everyone your profile, saying, "Look at me, I'm Sam from Seen Through Glass."
It's literally an illegal activity, so it's definitely not something I do. But I don't know. I just got a kick out of looking in the reflection of some windows. Like, it just feels a bit silly. It just feels like you're driving a bit of a silly car.
Well, the kick being that every time you drove past someone, they had to pick their jaw up from the floor.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's just kind of it's a unique experience. It's a unique experience.
Just have a Lambo or Ferrari then, because they all do that as well.
Yeah, for sure. But this one's, an estate car.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's literally, I've barely driven it. It's fundamentally an RS6. Like, it's a run-out special, but it's not the M5 CS. Audi have not gone to town on this car. It's a great body kit. It's an in-your-face livery. It's got like a few parts bin things that make it slightly different from an RS6 performance, but it's an RS6 performance with a livery. I mean, essentially.
Fair. So let me ask you a couple of questions.
Please.
Aside from I personally think, the stupid livery. Now, bearing in mind, I would assume that this car is not aimed at a 21-year-old. This car is aimed at a maturer man. Someone of my age, maybe not even your age, mate, because you're only mid-30s, so someone of my age and older.
Well, your typical RS6 buyer.
Your typical RS6 buyer. Now, I can't really think of anyone. Maybe you'd get away with it in black. Maybe it'd look a little bit better in black, but that colour, like... You must have a really small penis. Like, genuinely, mate. Like, if you like that car in that livery, like, you really need to go in a padded cell.
No.
Mate, it's not normal.
No, but it
Listen to your wife.
the thing is that we've seen modified RS6s before that don't look dissimilar from apt, from urban, from like, there's lots of people who have put body kits on RS6s and it's kind of a similar look and feel. And as I say, I feel very John Olsen, like it's got that whole, but that's so much, like that's so, and it's fine if you're an international skiing and YouTubing sensation from Sweden, smash, off you go, mate. But, or if you're a drug dealer in Kent, like fine, do you know what I mean? Like, but as an actual family cut, like as an RS6, it's just too much.
Yeah.
But
what, at that point, say you change the colour and you have it in black, which
yes, because you can have it in black or Nardo grey. Those are the only two other. So what I don't quite understand, in the UK, there are 60 cars from the 660. The UK got 60 cars.
Right, 10%.
Yeah, fine. 20,
right?
20 black, 20 grey, 20 white. I think in other markets, you might be able to spec normal colours. I think.
This really, really, to me, this stinks of what are we going to do with all these cars in these fields? We can't sell them as RS6 performances. Let's put some big wheels on them and a body kit. Wait a minute. I've just thought of something. Tell me how much it is. Because it's literally just come into my head. Please, mate.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong, by the way, in terms of it's a run-out special.
Yeah.
I think Audi will happily admit, like, it's a run-out special.
Yeah.
How much was an RS6 performance?
Less. Were they 120, 130, 120-ish?
RS6.
Early 120s, probably.
Performance. I can't type today.
Just today, or?
Yeah, lol. RS6 performance started at £117,500.
Oh, I'm bloody good at this, aren't I?
What is your job?
Oh. Please, mate.
I just have a guess. It's a limited edition, 660 units worldwide.
Right.
Okay.
660 too many for me. But, all right.
Just have a stab.
Have a stab?
Have a stab.
All right. Okay, I'm going to go bold here. I'm going to say 140. How much? It's not funny, mate.
I can't say it out loud. I just can't say it. I can't. It starts with a 1.
Oh, God.
177 grand.
No. That's it. I'm not doing this podcast anymore. I'm out. Mate, mate, how can I sit here 100
I honestly can't keep a straight face. The thing is, right, like, I mean, there's no justification, but all you can say is a limited run.
Hasn't even got a pan roof.
Hasn't even got a pan roof.
State car without a pan roof.
I mean, that's a you
Mind you,
thing.
my M3 hasn't got a pan roof, to be honest.
Exactly. I mean, it is what it is. They can charge whatever they like. It's a limited run, isn't it? Like, it's like they can charge what they like. They can pluck a figure. Because this is for the... hello, Jonathan. I know you had your RS6 and now you then got your RS6 Performance. I have a very special offer for you.
Oh.
Audi are doing this very limited run.
Yeah.
Just 600 units worldwide.
But I think years gone by, that worked. I think the punter knows too much nowadays, and I think that works less now. I think they'll be doing big money off them cars. Watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. Do not, please, do not pay over list for one of them, by the way. Anyone that wants one or can't get one.
The other thing is, it's a very limited run. It's going to be inspired by this fantastic design study and this classic Audi race car. It's going to be absolutely unbelievable features. Right. And you're going to go, oh, you're great. Then they're going to send you a picture, and Jonathan with his dark blue cognac interior RS6, which he uses to run the Labradors around and his kids, is going to get a picture of the Arcona white, race car inspired, and he's going to go, I don't think I can pull this off.
Yeah.
So, it's an interesting one. Historically, these numbered Audi, Mercedes, Audi BMWs haven't really performed that well, have they? Investment value-wise. These run-out specials. This is, it is extreme. It looks very different. But mechanically, we will find out if, these small changes have made a big difference. Mechanically, it's really not night and day. Interior, you've got some nice new seats.
I like the seats, by the way, actually. I like the seats. And I would have liked the look of the car better had it been just all black.
Can I show you the black one?
Yeah, you can, yeah. I can imagine it does look better because I've seen some of them at things before and they look all right in black. They're still not for me, but they look like okay. I think what made that worse... Yeah,
it looks quite cool, but it does just look like an RS6.
But that's
it?
the problem, mate. Yeah. For 50 grand less, you just buy yourself a normal RS6.
Yeah,
at that point,
or the Nardo grey.
No, the black one looks better.
Anyway, let's see. I got it for the week. Next week, I'm going to come and go, mate. What a car! It's worth every penny.
Well, you sold your normal one in about 3 weeks, so I don't think that'll happen. To be fair.
But I do feel a bit excited, though. I have to say, as silly, as mad as it is, I feel excited, and I'm excited to capture it on camera.
I'm just going to get out more, mate.
I'm basically just going to freaking plod around it. I've actually got to drive to the Netherlands tomorrow.
In that?
Yeah. I'm literally driving to Holland tomorrow.
All right then.
And then on Thursday, I actually need to go to IKEA. I'm just going to
Well, hold on a minute. So you not just got pottering around. I mean, you're going to the bloody Netherlands.
Yeah. I've got to pick up my sticky buttons for the Transstradale. Because I've had the sticky buttons all redone.
Never heard of Post?
Well, no, yeah, of course, but, it's an excuse to drive the car, isn't it? Also, I don't know if I should declare this, but, I'm going to edit that out, aren't I?
I mean, you should.
Jack, just bleep that, please. You don't have to cut it.
Don't just bleep it.
Anyway, did you get up to anything at the weekend? Because I nearly called you and said, get your ass to Selfridges. But what did you get up to at the weekend? Anything car related?
I get your ass to I actually went to Harrods on Sunday.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
Oh, what, in the morning?
In the morning.
Oh, mate.
Sunday morning, yeah.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, because I went... why did I go there? I don't really believe in Valentine's Day and all that nonsense, flowers. Right. So I said, I'm not getting... No. Yeah. Basically, I bought my Mrs. Harrods. No.
Yeah. I don't believe in Valentine's Day, but then I was told I had to, so I went to Harrods and bought a Birkin.
Yeah. There's a department store for you.
Please choose.
Yeah.
Okay, so go on.
Well... I had to get her some perfume, and there's one in Harrods that she likes, and then we went and had a bit of lunch. So I tried to make it a bit more special, but just 2 days later.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because I'm not buying flowers at 45 quid, 50 quid that die in 2 days. I'm not interested.
I dislike Valentine's Day, but I think we as men in a stereotypical way don't,
Did you get a present for Valentine's Day?
Did I receive one?
Yeah.
I received a lovely card.
I didn't get anything. Nothing. So I had a nice lunch though on Sunday. So Yeah.
Get her to take you back to Howard's.
Yeah.
Well,
What
I'm
did
even
you
more
do on
frustrated now
Sunday?
because,
I know what you did, actually.
yeah, Merlin, Duke of London,
Love him.
hosted this amazing Classics and Cake, which is his cars and coffee, basically, in collaboration with Selfridges at Selfridges
Wow.
in London. So
Oh.
just off Oxford Street, obviously an iconic location. They've got a massive multi-story car park around the back of Selfridges.
Right, didn't know.
7 or 8 floors, something like that. And I ended up speaking weirdly to basically Mr. Selfridges, and he said that only 2 days a year the car park is full. It's so big. It's only 2 days a year the car. So they're like, we're underutilizing this massive car park. And he's a massive car guy, the guy that I was talking to.
Wow.
And knew Merlin, and they just had this conversation of let's try and do something. And it was absolutely amazing. So you had Merlin at his best in terms of pulling together every sort of interesting car character from the London scene, I suppose. Yep. But then you had Selfridges doing free champagne for the non-drivers, amazing sort of, juices and cocktails, amazing cakes, snacks, coffee. So Selfridges did all the food bits. There was kind of cool music going on and great lighting. And it was just a really cool setup within the car park. And mate, the cars.
Nice.
So let me think what will pull your interest. 2 918 Spiders.
Yeah, lovely.
One in the classic liquid, whatever.
Yeah.
The grey silver thing. One in yellow. Wild.
I'm not sure I'd like the yellow one.
Well, yellow with a black roof, which I didn't quite. Anyway, very cool. I mean, those
quite
cars
like
still
a white
hit.
one with Isaac. I don't know why, maybe because it's a bit contrasty, but yeah.
Anyway, still mega. SF90 XX Stradale.
Yeah.
Very cool. First one I'd seen sort of,
Yeah.
out on the road. Just looks
What colour?
outrageous. Blue.
I've seen that car.
Yeah, you've seen it around
yeah.
with the number plate like boy.
Yeah, okay.
Boy.
Yeah.
A Koenigsegg, I mean,
Snore.
Yeah. Oh, what I loved is that I had my daughter there, and we were standing up on the ramp. So, looking down at the ramp as the Koenigsegg was there. And I was going, wow, look at that. And she was trying to copy and mimic. So then there's just a generic diesel Defender pulled behind the Koenigsegg. And she went, wow, look at that. And I think the Koenigsegg was like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
What can I do to get some attention around here? There was GTO Engineering in one of their 250 cal Spiders. That thing was stunning. There were so many interesting cars. You know what was really interesting? We were talking the other day about M3 GTSs and things like that.
Yeah.
There was an M3 CRT.
No idea.
Talking of limited German cars. So you remember the orange GTS we talk about, so
Yes.
the E92 M3 GTS.
Yes.
This was the 4-door saloon version.
Right.
It's called the M3 CRT. Let's see how many they made. It is super rare.
Never seen one. Left-hand drive.
M3 CRT.
Left-hand drive.
I don't know. E90 M3 CRT. How many did they make?
I'd be amazed if they made a right-hand drive one. I've never ever heard of that car.
They are super. But then we've never much heard about this because the UK, there wasn't a UK allocation.
Oh, there you go. That's why I've
67 CRTs were made,
Wow.
all left-hand drive,
Wow.
with the DCT, Frozen Silver and Melbourne Red.
Nice.
But never officially sold to the UK.
For Germany, basically.
Basically.
Yeah.
It was super cool. Love
Yeah, I
that
would have
thing.
liked that.
Just cool stuff, mate. I parked next to a 911R, an LFA rocked up. I can't think what else, but there was just that. If that happens again, we're going straight back, mate.
Okay, fine.
And I said to Merlin, put us in a corner, give us some microphones, and we'll just blabber on.
Yeah,
because it was one of those things that cars were rolling in and out. Dylan Miles came in an XKSS, old Jag XKSS, which was super cool. Like Steve McQueen car. That car right there.
Oh, wow.
Came in one of those.
I'd like that. I'd like that as well.
For audio listeners, I'm pointing at a picture of Steve McQueen in an XKSS, which we have here in the studio. Yeah, mate, that would be a really fun one to do what we did at Bicester, to just sit and chat about the cars coming and going, the people
fair.
coming and going. So yeah, big shout out, Merlin, you smashed it. It's a very limited ticketed event because of Selfridges and their setup. So
Of course.
I think go follow Duke of London and keep your eyes peeled for the future announcements for that.
Nice.
Definitely well worth getting to. I'm wearing a new watch today. I don't know if you noticed that. Hello.
Look, did you buy it or
No,
was it a brand deal?
So this is the new Tag Heuer Formula One.
Oh,
I have 3 previous Formula One Tag Heuer watches,
you're doing
right?
all right, aren't you?
All of them sub 500 quid.
What?
Genuinely, I love a cheap Tag Heuer Formula One.
Yeah.
This is their new one, which they launched because obviously they're now headline sponsors of Formula One.
Wow.
They've replaced Rolex.
Wow.
Yeah, Tag Heuer, the official timing partner of F1.
Blimey.
And I think for the first time ever, headline sponsors of Monaco, and that's the first time Monaco's ever had a headline sponsor. It's now the Tag Heuer Monaco Grand Prix. So they're going in.
They're spending some money.
I've got to be honest. I'm not in love with this watch.
I actually
I
quite
wanted
like
more.
it.
Do you?
Yeah, I do,
wanted more because of historically they were always so kind of a little bit out there, like had a little bit more flavour to them.
But I like that because it's subtle. It's quite like, it's not so much. I wouldn't have even noticed it if you had you not said to me.
It's not my favourite Formula One they've ever done, but it's very effective. It's got a nice rubber strap. Like I've worn it for the last couple of days, and you're right. It's nice. I think I just wanted a bit more flair, a bit more colour, a bit more funk.
Mate, what has happened to you? Larry watches,
RS6 GT,
RS6 GT things.
I've lost my head, haven't I?
Literally.
Anyway, I'm going to be very grateful because they've lent it to me for a few days, but just
nice.
Yeah. And it's because tonight I'm going to F175, this big launch party.
Right, so what's going to happen there then? What is going to go on there? What's going to go down?
All the teams, by the way, by the time this podcast comes out, this would have already happened, contractually with Formula One, have to unveil their liveries for 2025.
Not the car?
Not the car. All the liveries will be launched on 2024 cars.
Right.
So that's why it's a bit of a mess, right? Formula One were like, how do we harness launch season? How do we create an event that we can sell tickets to, get all eyes in one place, create a bit of a moment? Let's do this launch party. But all the teams were like, well, hold on a second, because we don't want to unveil our cars like that. Some of our cars won't be ready. We want to do our own event that gets our own publicity, which is why we've seen like Williams and McLaren and even Haas, I think, doing like these small little secret unveilings. But the liveries they all have to be unveiled tonight at this party. So all the teams, all the drivers, and now Scuderia Ferrari.
Where's the event?
The O2.
Oh, it's at the O2.
All the people, all the sponsors, all the cash.
So everyone's going to be there.
Everyone,
all the big wigs.
Social media is going to be ruined for a good couple of days. Of like, join me as I go down to. That's literally going to be my reel, by the way. Join me as I go to the O2 with Tag Heuer. It's literally my reel. But there's going to be 1,000 of those, and there's going to be influencers flicking their hair and whatever.
Yeah.
But chance to see Lewis Hamilton in red in the flesh.
Well,
love that.
That'll be the headline, won't it?
Yeah. Chance to see Liam Lawson Red Bulled up.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots to Antonelli.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Like I'm intrigued, and look, the hype for this season, it's getting a little bit out of control, I think.
Well, because everyone's just anticipating that the cars are all going to be very, very similar. It's going to be 2021 again, but obviously with more cars.
Bigger and better. They're saying it's going to be an unprecedented season.
Yeah, because all the cars are going to be similar. Yeah.
But the thing is, because of all this hype, and obviously the Lewis Hamilton hype, the Antonelli hype, the Lawson hype, all of this stuff, it's going to take us 6 to 8 races for that to really come to fruition, because it does. The season needs to kind of settle. The beginning, first few races, all these things like that. We don't really know how things are going to pan out, and we won't know if we have a 4 or 5 way constructors battle on our hands or a 3 or 4 driver battle on our hands until 6 or 8 races in. I always forget which year it was. I think it was 2010. I think it was 2010 or 2012 where they had like 6 winners from the first 6 races, like including Pastor Maldonado. So it must have been 2010, I think. And that was one of those years where we were like, what is going on? And then obviously it settled down into, was it 2010? Was it 2012? Sorry, anyway. Maybe it was 2012. I think it was 2012. And that we did end up at the end of the year, yeah, it was 2012, with Webber, Vettel, Alonso, Button, Hamilton, they were all in the mix with 3 races to go.
Yeah.
But
would you like to give a early prediction, being your expertise of what's...
I'm not an expert, just a fan, aren't I? And everyone's a fan.
Well, but you know a lot. You know quite a lot. Would you like to give your expert opinion on what you think will happen in terms of driver champion and constructor champion? Because you'd probably be surprised what I'm going to say.
I genuinely, because we haven't seen the cars on track yet. We haven't seen anything that would hint at any kind of performance. I would
Let's go on the facts of what we all think, that all the cars are going to be very similar.
Well, if I was forced to place a bet, I'm still putting it on Verstappen. Like, my bet still goes to Verstappen. But if you look at the performance of the Red Bull towards the end of last year, if they come out of the box, with a car that's not a podium contender, not a top 3 contender, they've got an uphill battle. The thing is, if it's super close, the thing that works in our advantage as viewers, but not as a championship, is that you can't build a run. If somebody comes out of the box and wins the first 3 or 4 races, then they're definitely going to be favourites. Because for the rest of the year, everyone's going to be fighting. And that's how Verstappen won last year.
Yeah,
if you think about it, because from 6 or 7 races in, it was then every race somebody took points off somebody else.
Yeah.
I think if Ferrari are the quickest, because they ended last year with the quickest car. So if they come out of the box with the quickest car, then Ferrari. The last 3 or 4 races of the year, they were the quickest. They just didn't deliver on it.
Wait a minute. Out the box, the Red Bull was the fastest car.
Yeah, at the end of last year.
The end.
So end of last year. We're going from the end of last year, rolling in. Cars don't change much. Ferrari, if they're fastest, I'm sorry, Leclerc and Hamilton are taking points off each other. That battle will be way too intense. And that's us assuming that Hamilton's going to have the pace of Leclerc, which none of us know is going to be true.
Know that bit,
So if it's an Alonso Hamilton of McLaren 2007 era, then they're taking points off each other.
Yep.
I think Norris and Piastri are quite strong as a team that could do well together. I mean, they won the Constructors' Championship by kind of doing well together.
Yeah.
Lawson and Verstappen could implode or explode. I don't think that's going to be I think Lawson's too aggy to play the second fiddle in that well away.
Yeah.
So I think Antonelli and Russell, I just don't see that as
not
championship contenders.
No.
And then people are saying don't write off, other teams making progress. But yeah, if I answer your question, if I'm a betting man, I'll put a $5 on Verstappen still. If my heart is speaking, of course I want Ferrari, and I will rest with Leclerc or Hamilton. Obviously, I'd love Hamilton to do it. If Hamilton can be a championship contender in that Ferrari, I will have the biggest hard-on for the whole year. Sorry to make that graphic. But I will lose my head. I'm
sure you'd appreciate that.
I'll lose my head.
Yeah.
But I'd take it if Leclerc, because he's my number 2.
Yeah, fair enough.
Go on then, what are you going to say?
Well, you've half stole my thunder, but my reasoning's a little bit different to yours, mainly because I always look at teammate. So if Ferrari have got one of or the fastest car, or it's up there, then you're quite right. Lewis and Leclerc are going to take points off each other. But as a constructor, over the course of the season, they'll amalgamate the most amount of points, because I think they're the best driver pairing anyway. But simply because of that, I agree. I think Max will win the championship, because the other teams, I would rule Mercedes out of construction. Championship contention. Yeah, just because the other 3 teams are going to be stronger, I think, as teams.
Well, they would have done a lot more work over the winter than the other 3 to make the step forward.
Yeah.
They were there or thereabouts. They were the 4th fastest team of the year.
Yeah.
But they just didn't ever have quite enough, apart from that very short summer run and obviously Vegas. It would have been a big step.
The thing that why I think Max as well is, one, because he's gained a lot of experience over the last couple of years, and no disrespect to Liam, he's not Max. So Max most weeks is going to win. He's going to be
ahead. If the car's over Liam, he's going to beat Liam.
Yeah. So then, like, there's only, like last year, it's a one-man team essentially, because if you've got Lando, Lewis, Oscar, and Leclerc, and the cars are similar speed to the Red Bull, I think Lawson finishes at the back of that cluster of drivers. Essentially. I just don't. I
give him more credit, I think.
Okay, fine.
I think I give him more credit. I think once he's up to speed, I think he'll be on a Piastri level.
Do you?
Yeah, I think Piastri
Fair.
let me. I was a teeny bit disappointed with Piastri last year.
I think Piastri is going to be good this year.
I had a secret thing last year of like, Piastri's my guy. I think he's coming through.
He's my number 2, Piastri.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I think he's going to end up dominating Lando. I think he's the quicker driver. I think he's the And early on in the year, I remember having chats with McLaren. Being like, he's coming, isn't he? And then he's never quite
pushed on.
Yeah, never quite pushed on, and Lando did.
Lando did.
So yeah, that'll be an interesting dynamic to watch. But I think my thing is that I think Lawson's head might get a bit big. I think he could find his feet. I think he could be quick, and I think he's gone in there playing the no, cool guys, and I think he's actually in his head thinking, I'm going to get in there and stir shit up.
I'm going to get Max, but he's not. He's just not, is he?
The only thing which we have to bear in mind, and let's wrap this up a bit because
this turns into an F1 podcast.
Red Bull obviously lost their way a bit last year. They've lost a ton of staff and talent. Obviously, Adrian Newey being part of that. They've lost a lot of internal, what would you call it? Strength and
energy.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And so they would be relying on a lot of the other talent they have. Adrian was not the absolute be all and end all of that team, but to fix that car, because that car needed fixing. Let's not fake that car needed fixing. To fix that car over the winter, take a big step forward. Potentially tough without the visionary that was Adrian and all the other people that have left as well. And you've got Max in a sort of slightly semi-negative mindset. Yes, he won the championship, but it's, I just don't think that they're coming out the box being like, we are. Yeah, here we go. I think there's a bit of nervousness around them.
Yeah, but hold it. Okay, fine. Just before we move on, I take your points, but the second half of the season where the Red Bull wasn't as quick, Max won the championship because of Max.
But because of the season that he'd had before. If you think about those races where they were finishing 6th, 7th, 8th, where he started getting really moody.
Yeah, fair.
He started getting really moody on the radio, and all those clashes with Lando at Mexico and stuff like that, where we saw old Max of old being prickly and slagging people off and saying, we're about to sort that. Like, it was really the last 3 races, he just put his head down and was like, right, where did he win? What was that final win that he got?
Was it like 2 or 3 towards the end?
Yeah. He got that final win.
Was it Brazil,
to secure the championship? Brazil.
Yeah.
The Brazil drive was Max being like, let's just get this done.
Yeah.
Brazil was like that ungodly drive that we're all going to think back to and go, that was Max Verstappen at his car. And so I give him that.
That's Lewis at Silverstone in the rain when he won by a minute.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those drives that you just never forget. The Turkey drive that Lewis did when he stayed on the tyres the whole time. So Senna at Donington, all these kind of drives. But there was a good chunk of the season where Max was moaning. It was unhappy. There was all this Red Bull unsettledness. So, I think it's going to be I think there's so much that's going to be fascinating, even if McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes come out the things and they've found something amazing and they end up dominating for the first 5 or 6 races. I think there's still so much intrigue, so much science at Williams is going to be fascinating.
Yeah.
Ocon at Haas, in comes old Jack Doohan.
Yeah.
Alpine, how long is he going to sit there with Colapinto chasing his heels? So much to check, but that's going to be good. Anyway, we asked for some questions over on Instagram. So let me pull some up, see what we've got going on. Right. I haven't looked at these at all, so let's go. Matty 5A, have M3 touring values leveled off now? Good time to buy, ?
M3 touring values.
It's your car, mate.
Yeah. I know what it is, yeah. They are, mid to late 60s retail now. So, a good spec car was about 100 grand. So, yeah, we're getting there. They're still going to lose money, like bloody everything does.
It's going to keep going down, but
they've slowed down. Yeah,
so good time to buy.
If you don't want to lose any money at all, then don't buy one. But that's every car in the world. That's every car in the world nowadays. Yeah.
Curtis Duguid, do a 360 buyer's guide from an owner's perspective.
Oh dear.
I feel like I've done that. If you go on my YouTube channel,
I was going to say,
and just type in the search 360 videos and just watch them. That is an owner's guide because it all just basically just talk through all the work we do. Plug for Seeing Through Glass and AV engineering. Because we just literally did 5 years of content about owning and running a 360. DE Engineero, when are you guys coming back to the USA? You should come to Colorado.
Well, we haven't been for a couple of 3 years, have we? And I liked my time there. And I didn't really get to... But we worked, as we always do when we go away.
Yeah.
And I'd like a couple of days, one either side, where we can have a little bit of a jolly.
A nice time.
A little bit of a, let's go and have a look at this, or let's see this.
I'm going back end of March.
I mean, you basically a resident there, mate.
I hope so.
Still got that old Porsche?
Yeah, last week of March, I'm going out to find the Boxster. I'm going out to find the
Find
Boxster.
it.
So if you are Californian based,
Yeah.
and you want to work together,
Or you want to buy a Porsche.
please get in touch. But no, I actually can't wait. But you're right. Like, I would love for you and I to do a big American adventure, almost like a Mille Miglia of America. Do you know what I mean? Like whether it's us independently, you in a Bronco Raptor and me in a whatever, and do like a big epic road trip.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Film it properly, or go and do an event.
Yeah.
I would love to do that, mate. And there are a few of those.
Or an
'cause,
on the road tour.
we could do an on the road tour. Actually, shout out on the road tours. Just a reminder, in case you've been missing it, we have launched our driving tour business, ontheroad.tours. If you want more information, ontheroad.tours. Still, I think 2 spaces remaining for the Spain trip in May. Going to plug that one because it's coming up.
Yeah.
2 spaces
Very
remaining.
soon.
So you got to be quick.
Got to be quick.
Because we're like, what? We're just over a week out.
We're going
launching,
on
and we're nearly
holiday.
gone. So ontheroad.tours.
Yep.
If you want to go on holiday with Tony, if you want to come and work
No, don't
with
say
me.
that, they won't come.
Yeah, literally. Okay, moving on.
Yep.
Oh my God. Luke Setters, this is a question for Tony.
Hello,
Best estate car for under 5K?
Under $5,000. Oh, I'll just pick a Volvo of some sort.
Oh, yes.
Just get an old Volvo.
5 in the Volvo.
Yeah.
Okay. Matt with many T's. Roberts, when will Behind the Glass Live podcast return?
Well,
Funny, you should
say
ask.
that.
Oh.
they are coming.
We are just finalising dates. We're expecting 3 or 4 UK events and then 2 or 3 European events. So stay tuned. I think we'll be announcing them soon. We might not announce them all in one go because we want to. But anyway, we're doing them this year. They're going to be slightly different.
There will be.
They're going to be slightly different, maybe a little bit more intimate. But they're coming back because we didn't do any last year and we've missed them. So yeah, Behind the Glass Live coming very soon. Don't worry about that. Stay tuned. Jack Edwards.48, 50 to 60k budget for a weekend car, thinking something like a G82 M4, etc. Any others?
That's the car.
I mean, of course, I'm going to say an F-Type.
Yeah, but if you want a modern, good weekend car, I mean that's the car. I mean that's what literally what comes to. I mean, there's plenty others, obviously, but I think that's what I would pick. What would you pick?
I'm just thinking.
Because you've got RS5, you've got C63, but they're old model cars.
No,
now.
but weekend car, like I think you can have more fun than that, mate. If it's going to be a weekend tour, get an Emira.
Or Boxster.
Yeah, Boxster GTS.
Or Cayman.
What, a 981 Boxster GTS?
Cayman. You can have a Cayman. Oh, it all depends what you want.
If it's a weekend car, do more than an M4 because G82, that's the new one. That's your generation.
Yeah.
It's too good at, like, it's not special enough for a weekend car.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's too good at doing the mundane.
Mind you,
If
most of
it's
the
just a
time I
toy-
use my car, though. I use my car at the weekends most of the time. Don't use it during the week.
Yeah, but I think you could be wackier. I think you could push the boat out a bit more and get something that's a little bit more, as I
Out
say,
there.
yeah, a Emira or Boxster GTS or old.
I don't think you like Luke suggesting an Emira. Jack.
At least I remembered his name.
Well, you got it in front of you.
Well, look, Liam Barrow, opinions on the Emira. Now the price has dropped on the second-hand market.
Right.
It's still a wicked car. The thing which I've never understood about the Emira, everyone sells them.
There might be a reason for that.
But clearly there is. Do you know what I mean? Like, because obviously that car had so much hype when it launched.
Yeah.
People went nuts for it. I think maybe people bought it that wouldn't have naturally gone and bought a Lotus.
Yeah.
And so then maybe they were like, that's why I didn't buy a Lotus. Do you think that's what happened?
I mean, I probably said it when it was launched, but yeah, they're competing in a market where they're trying to compete with Porsche. It's not a thing.
You still haven't driven one, have you?
No.
They're so good.
Fair.
They're so good, but I think it's still a Lotus. Like that Emira is still very much old Lotus DNA.
Yeah.
It moved forward enough to make you go, oh, okay, like it's got CarPlay now and it's a bit more usable and practical. But it was still an old Lotus. So yeah, if you went in buying it thinking, oh yeah, great, it's an alternative for X, Y, and Z, you're going to get in and go, well, yeah, but it's still a Lotus. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, for 40 grand or something. I mean, it's a good car. Probably.
Is that how much they've dropped?
No, they're not. They're not. But there will be in a minute.
Tom KSTR, how do you see the potential in future GT4 values now that 4RS values are falling? I mean, just
Not really affected. It's a different car. It's not. GT4s have come off like everything else.
And 4RSs are just back to list, aren't they? They're not dropping.
Yeah. The general public have a perception of all these cars losing money. I can't tell you how many times I need to say this, despite what other influencers say or people that say on the internet. Cars lose money. They always have, and they always will. I get sent half a dozen clips a week. People that I don't know on Instagram talking to me about car values, losing money. They literally, it's never changed, mate. All the time you got a hole in your bum.
Winds you up, doesn't it?
Yes, it does wind me up, yeah.
But just sorry to stick on Porsche because this is effectively a Porsche podcast.
Sponsored by Porsche? No.
I wish. But that's the other thing which has been confusing, I think. And we often say this. It needs clarification. GT4 RSs, maybe Spider RSs, we say, they've come right off. But if you bought one at list, even our cars, right? We talk about our cars, I mean, fair enough, our cars now have depreciated. But if you bought the car list, they are still good cars relative to other cars at that price point. So, my GT3, I think 15,000 miles now, as I've declared.
15?
Bought a 154.
Yeah.
At a I need to get out of this car. It's what, 130?
Yeah, probably.
As I run away. So
it's unbelievable.
20 grand for a 150 grand car in 2.5 years with 15,000 miles. If I had bought a Vantage at 150 grand 2 years ago, we now know that car would be worth 90 or 100.
And can I tell you something? I mean, very important point on your car. All you've lost on your car is the VAT.
Interesting.
The actual car hasn't lost any value.
So we need to be slightly careful with what we say and throw our words around because the GT product Porsches do still lose money slower or less than some of the other cars at that price point. What has disappeared is the big overs. And the cars when they first appeared on the market, GT4 RSs at 220 grand, that has just disappeared.
And Spider RSs.
That has all disappeared. So we talk about them all, coming off. But actually, if you'd bought one list at 135 or 140, you've still done relatively well.
Yeah. A GT4 RS with miles, like a non-ceramic car, but still got the fire jack and whatnot. They're like 125, 130. So they are pretty close to list still. And
so my whole thing is, there's two ways of talking about stuff. There's list prices of cars, and then there's used market values. But used market values is sort of like a little bit superfluous because it's kind of all a bit of a bubble. And it's all a bit made up. And I think what you've been saying for a long time is what's changed, not changing, but what's changed is those bubbles, those big over bubbles, a thing of a yesteryear, are effectively or essentially gone.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another thing as well, which always muddies the market as well, and we spoke about this so many times before, the general public won't always know this, is the SOR market. Because what happens is...
Sale or return. Or consignment.
What happens is a punter gives a dealer a car, they kind of agree a price. It's normally on the high side because the dealer hasn't wrote a check for it, so he's not that bothered whether it sells or not, apart from having his commission. Whether if it's his own money, he wants the bloody thing gone because it's losing money as well, and he wants his margin. But it's losing money, which is the most important thing. But on sale or return, the cars are often put up at more money really than what the actual retail value is. That's why in that market, it's harder to value stuff because the cars on the market, most of them are sale or return.
Yeah.
They're not actually owned by the dealers. The real value are the ones that the the dealers have got up for sale.
Fair. Freddie Jar.
Yeah.
What is your dream 3-car garage if money is no issue? This comes up all the time, so let's just answer it.
3 car.
3 cars.
For me,
Go.
918.
Yeah.
Oh, but I've had them. That's the problem.
As of now, this is
so hard.
This
mate.
changes all the time. Okay.
This is so hard.
Ferrari 250 short wheelbase, probably GTO engineering version. 992 Sport Classic, and Bentley Continental GT. Done.
Enzo, 918 Spider. GT2 RS because I've not had one.
Done. I mean, literally, I've got so many things. Dream 3 cars. Coach J Wags. What car never lived up to all the hype when you finally got to drive it?
The Audi downstairs.
Can you think of one of those?
I mean, there will be plenty, but when you're put on the spot, it's like a TV show. When someone asks you a question on a TV show and everyone on the TV screen's shouting and you're sitting in the chair and can't think. You know what I mean? You know when you're on the radio and you go, what stupid thing to bloody say? Can you think of one?
Yeah.
Tell me.
It's going to be really controversial.
I mean, you're really going to upset everyone.
I don't know if I get a lawsuit if I say it.
You can say it, mate. It's just a question. It's an opinion. How much trouble are you reckon to be in?
Okay. We're going to say it, and I'm just going to move straight on. So the question was, what car never lived up to all the hype when you finally got to drive it? Gordon Murray T50. Okay, let's move on. So I don't think I'm allowed to say anything else.
So good.
Wally Vora. How's McLaren doing? Maintenance, etc. How is McLaren doing?
I don't really know,
I
actually.
don't really know. I actually sent them an email because I got a project coming up and I was like, hey, I'd love to chat. I said, have you got a Senna lying around that I could use? Because, we've been talking about how Sennas are starting to fly. But I said, what's going on for 2025? Let's make some plans. I did great work with McLaren last year. 750S is, honestly, for me, that's probably the pick of the bunch for a modern day supercar. 765 LT, Artura. I love the original car. I mean, but I'm a bit like, what is going on? What's on the horizon for them this year?
Yeah, fair.
What's the deal?
Did they reply?
I didn't ask them that question. I was just thinking it in my head.
Right. Well, what have they got coming out?
W1. W1's the only thing that I know of. Like, obviously super exciting, but
yeah.
Like,
fair.
Oh, this one, I'll be interested in your thoughts.
Go on, mate.
Let me see. I want to find the name. I just skipped past it. Sorry, 2 seconds. Shehzad Suleiman.
Oh.
When do you think finance rates will fall for the market in general?
They already are falling.
Where are they at the moment?
8.9-ish.
And at the best, they were 3 or 4?
Most mainstream dealers were like 5.9.
Fine, okay.
But yeah, you could get 4.9 and stuff. But yeah, they were 5.9 or 6.9. So
fine.
we're 8.9-ish now. 9.9 is very competitive as well. So
do you think financing a car is getting back to where it was a couple of years ago?
no.
Because what, the residual values are worse, or
It's everything, mate. They're never going to go back. We're never ever, probably ever again, going to be borrowing money at bloody 1%, or but in terms of the base rate being that.
Sure.
It's never going to. That was a freak time in our life. So I think it will probably settle at, I don't know, 6.9, 7.9 in the next year or so. I think that feels about right-ish. Residuals will just be, they are what they are.
But do you think they've got, what do you think underwriters are more nervous or inherently wisened up to the market at the moment? Anyway.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, but there's a magic formula. What they have done is that there were loads more flexibility on that in years gone by, where banks would mess around with the residual, essentially. That's happens a lot less now. You know, there are a couple of banks that will still be a little bit risky, but most of them are, you know,
play very safe.
They play very, very safe, because we just live in a different world now. So, you know, the less the residual, the less interest you pay anyway. Yeah. So you almost, I know you're paying a bit more a month, but at the end of it, you're going to be the right way instead of being the wrong way.
Yeah. And that was always the advice Magnitude used to give me back in the day. It's like, don't, you know, you basically pay more, you know, you don't want to pay a lot of interest. Yeah. But your monthly payment, you shouldn't be arguing over 25 quid because it's going to sting you on the way out. Yeah.
And sometimes you'd have to pay to come out. I mean, again, like if you keep your car the term now and you've bought a car from a good dealer and, you know, they haven't stiffed you on the rate, which again is hard now. You know, the regulations are, you know, so tight and they're going to get even worse. So, if you keep your car, the biggest thing where you lose big money on cars when you change them too quick. So you buy a car
if you're financing them.
Well, even if you're paying cash.
Fair.
You know,
Fair.
Either way, if you're changing them in 6 months or every year, that's when you do your biggest margin. And as well, like if you get a car on finance, especially, all the interest is always front loaded. So your first 6 or 9 payments, quite a lot of that's interest. So you think to yourself after 6 or 9 months, you go, bloody hell, my settlement hasn't gone down. But that's because the interest is front loaded because the banks won't do it for nothing. Sure. They don't do it for nothing. So but if you're 2 or 3 years, then you start seeing a bit of
movement,
equity.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see the car market. I mean, I don't know how you do your job. It's always.
Well, you can do a proper episode on it soon.
Oh, that's
people like that.
People like that.
I don't like it, but people like it.
Well, we'll see about that. Anyway, thank you so much for those of you that submitted your questions via the Behind the Glass Instagram page. If you don't follow us over there, Behind the Glass __ podcast. We post a lot of reels, little highlight reels from episodes of yesteryear, and it's a way for you to, submit questions whilst we continue to work on the Patreon returning. God, we're so much, we're just like teasers, aren't we?
I know.
Stay tuned for this, stay tuned for that. Let's just launch everything.
Yeah.
Also, if you're still listening, which I doubt many of you are at the end of the episode, Rate Your Rides is returning. If you have a car in the UK, I guess, which you are happy for Tony and I to come and drive and check out and do a little. I
love doing these.
Yeah, a little Rate Your Ride episode. The weather is getting better. We've been waiting for the weather to get a little bit better because we don't want to be asking for cars in the misery. So as the sun is returning, please get in touch. BTG@seenthroughglass.com. That's the one, isn't it? Yeah.
Is that the one?
BTG@seenthroughglass.com. Send us an email suggesting a car that you think Tony and I should come and check out and drive.
The worse, the better.
The worse, the better. Or the better, the better. We want no middle. We don't want any mediocre cars. We want either huge MC20s or MC12s.
MC12.
MC12s. All right, team. We will catch up with you next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.